You swipe your credit card for a coffee. $3. Simple transaction, right? Except when you check your bank account 5 minutes later, those $3 are just floating there in pending limbo, neither in your account nor fully gone. And they'll stay that way for anywhere from 1 to 3 days. For a transaction that took 2 seconds. Here's what makes this even stranger. The coffee shop got confirmation instantly. The little machine beeped, printed your receipt, and everyone moved on with their lives. So if the store knows they got paid, and your bank knows money left, what exactly is pending? What's actually happening during those mysterious days when your money exists in some kind of financial purgatory? The answer involves a surprisingly elaborate dance between 4 different parties, none of whom trust each other very much. When you swipe your card, you're not actually sending money anywhere. You're sending a request. That request goes from the card reader to the merchant's bank, which people in the industry call the acquiring bank, because apparently merchant's bank was too straightforward. The acquiring bank then checks with your bank, called the issuing bank, because we're really committed to making this confusing. Your bank looks at your account and makes a split-second decision. Does this person have enough money, and does this transaction look legitimate? If yes, they send back an approval code. This entire journey takes about 2 seconds. But here's where it gets weird. That approval code isn't money. It's a promise. Your bank is essentially telling the merchant's bank, yeah, this person is good for it, and then immediately freezing that amount in your account so you can't spend it twice. The merchant sees the approval and hands you your coffee, trusting that actual money will eventually show up. Except the actual money doesn't move yet, not even close. What happens next involves batch processing, interchange fees, and a surprising number of opportunities for things to go wrong. And understanding this process reveals why your bank account sometimes looks like a crime scene of pending transactions, and why that $3 coffee is somehow more complicated than sending humans to the moon. So why does the money just sit there? Because banks don't actually send individual transactions back and forth all day. That would be chaos. Instead, they batch everything together. At the end of each business day, the merchant's bank collects all the approved transactions from that day, bundles them up, and sends one giant request to all the various issuing banks. This is called settlement. Your bank receives this batch file, verifies all the transactions again, because trust issues, and then finally moves actual money through what's essentially a central clearinghouse that handles transfers between banks. This whole process takes 1 to 3 business days, depending on how quickly the merchant submits their batches and how fast the banks process them. But your $3 was frozen immediately. So from your perspective, the money's already gone, even though it's technically still in your account, just marked as unavailable. The merchant, meanwhile, doesn't get paid instantly either. They're waiting for that settlement process to complete, which means they gave you coffee based purely on a promise from your bank. During this waiting period, things can still go wrong. Your bank might discover you actually didn't have enough money and reverse the transaction. The merchant might realize they charged you twice and cancel one. Fraud detection systems might flag something suspicious. This is why everything stays in pending status. It's a buffer zone where mistakes can be caught and corrected before money permanently changes hands. The really frustrating part? This entire system was designed in the 1970s, when batch processing made sense because banks couldn't communicate in real time. Today, when you can video call someone on Mars, theoretically, we're still using a system that treats electronic transactions like they're being delivered by horse and carriage. Some banks are starting to implement real-time payment systems that settle instantly, but most of the infrastructure is still running on technology older than the internet, which means your $3 coffee will probably keep living in pending purgatory for at least a few more decades. So the next time you're staring at your bank app wondering why that burrito from Tuesday is still pending, just remember, it's not a glitch. It's not your bank being lazy. It's a deliberately designed safety net running on infrastructure that predates smartphones, the internet, and quite possibly your parents' first date. The irony is almost beautiful. We've built a financial system that can move billions across continents in microseconds, but your coffee payment needs 3 days to think about its life choices. Banks could fix this tomorrow if they wanted to, but that would require upgrading systems that, despite being older than cassette tapes, still technically work. And in banking, if it's not catastrophically broken, nobody's rushing to replace it. Your pending transactions aren't stuck because the technology doesn't exist. They're stuck because the technology that does exist is just good enough that nobody's bothered to kill it yet.